This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to my recap and review of Ahsoka Season 1, Part 7. This episode is titled Dreams and Madness. If you haven't watched this episode yet, please don't watch this video. There will be spoilers, including an incredible cameo, which is going to be ruined and is completely unexpected. So, if you have not yet watched this episode, please go watch it because I don't want to ruin this for you. But now let's go straight into it. On Coruscant, Harrison Dula is on trial for going and disobeying orders and going after Morgan Elsbeth. Senator Xono is making his personal mission to destroy her, even though people like Carson Teva are pointing out that there seems to be evidence of a Imperial remnant being active together, using the recent battle on Mandalore as an example. Xono goes and denies this, and it seems that Hera is going to be court-martialed until a protocol droid approaches. It demands entrance and says that it has special information from Senator Leia Organa. And as the droid tries to identify itself, Mon Mothma is able to identify him as C-3PO and asks him to come in. 3PO comes in and tells them that he has information from Senator Organa where she approved Harrison Dula's mission, not knowing of Xono's opposition to it through a vote. And this information will be able to clear Hera, but Xono is against it and objects to the information. But 3PO points out that Leia is head of the Defense Council, and this persuades Mon Mothma, who doesn't want to see Hera taken out of this position, drops all charges against Hera. And after this, Hera goes up to 3PO and thanks him and Leia for the help. But Mon approaches her and Hera discusses with the Chancellor, with Mon knowing that Leia didn't give permission before, and Hera fully admits it but says that she did give it eventually. Hera is then asked to give her unbiased opinion on the threat Thrawn could pose, and if he actually could come back. And she says that they need to prepare for the worst, but hope for the best, which worries Mon Mothma, with the galaxy at a relative state of peace at the time. And at the same time, Ahsoka Tano is training and practicing her lightsaber forms as she listens to an old message recorded about halfway through the Clone Wars by her former master, Anakin Skywalker, as he tells her of many things and how she will not only be fighting droids, but there are other threats like General Grievous, Asajj Ventress, and Count Dooku that she may encounter in the battlefield. She has to prepare to fight them. And Ahsoka listens to this, remembering her time under Anakin, until she eventually finishes the training session when the recording ends. She has a nice moment with a hologram of her master. As Huyang enters and watches the end, he begins to discuss with Ahsoka about Anakin and the message he left for her. Ahsoka says that he left many for her and this was the final one. As she reflects on how he really was a great master, she then follows Huyang to the bridge, where they quickly figure out that they'll be dropping out of hyperspace soon, and prepare to go to this new galaxy as they discuss where they think they could find Sabine. And Ahsoka says that they'll just go to find their enemy since that's where she was seen last. And Hu Yang points out that they may be going to the correct galaxy or the correct planet, but Ahsoka says that she trusts that it will work out. And although Hu Ying points out that there is no logical way for this to happen, that he believes she is right, and the Force will be able to guide them there. The Purrgil quickly exit hyperspace, and they quickly figure out that something is wrong. As they feel explosions going off, they fly out of the Purrgil's mouth and learn that they are in the middle of an Imperial minefield. And with the Purrgil, they try to fly and avoid the mines. The Purrgil, who initially take most of the attacks of the mines, jump to hyperspace as soon as they are able to get their trajectories clear of the planet of Peridia. And this leaves Ahsoka and Huyang in their shuttle to try and avoid the mines alone. But they are significantly through the minefield at this point and don't have to go through much. So they are able to escape it relatively unharmed and head towards Peridia, where a squadron of fighters is launched after them. With them being pursued, they know that there's only one way to try and avoid them since they have no one to go and man the tail gunner position, and they fly into the ring that is made up of Purrgil bodies. And using that as cover, they are able to destroy a few of the fighters that chase them. Down on Peridia, Thrawn calls off the pursuit, knowing that it is pointless to chase Ahsoka through the field, and instead reads her profile. He quickly learns she was trained by Anakin, and based off his experience with Anakin during the Clone Wars, and from his time as Darth Vader, that he is unpredictable and that they need to be cautious and try to put her on a set path to go and deal with her. Noticing that the pursuit has been broken off, Ahsoka and Huyang go to hide. Meanwhile, Ezra and Sabine begin to catch up as Sabine tells him the history of everything that happened in the galaxy after he left. Ezra continues to question her about how she got here, but Sabine still goes and does not want to tell Ezra how she got here, with her still feeling guilty about it. And they quickly see Balin and Shin preparing to approach and prepare both to flee and for battle. Thrawn asks the Great Mothers to go and track down the location of Ahsoka Tano inside of the graveyard surrounding the planet, and they begin a spell to do so. While on board the shuttle, Ahsoka and Huyang begin to discuss how to find Sabine, with their scans not working, either due to the fact that the Imperials are jamming them, or that the debris and bodies are blocking their scans. Ahsoka reaches out with the Force to try and connect with Sabine, and is able to do so, and sees through her eyes, being able to figure out where she is. And at the same time, the Night Mothers are able to use their spell to do the same for Ahsoka's location. And the Eye of Sion is ordered to attack. Ezra and Sabine continue to discuss things, as Sabine says she has an odd feeling of something familiar, not yet knowing it is Ahsoka, who she believes is dead. And the Eye of Sion begins to attack on the approximate location of Ahsoka, and she goes and begins to pilot the shuttle, knowing where to go on the planet to find Sabine and Ezra. Thrawn is glad that his tactic has worked so far and orders for the fighters to resume their pursuit and for them to be able to use this to track down Sabine's location just in case that Balin and Shin fail. But they have not, and Balin and Shin look over the location of Ezra and Sabine. Balin tells her that she has to do this alone. He has something else to do and warns her that being impatient will lead to her downfall. And she leads in the raiders that they made an alliance with to attack after contacting Thrawn to let him know that they have found Sabine and Ezra. Thrawn sends out his two squads of night troopers and two Imperial gunships, and they go to assist Shin, whose raiders have already begun their attack. Sabine and Ezra, together in one pod, begin to fend them off, with Ezra piloting and Sabine using her blasters to take out the raiders. Quickly, they are forced to create a more defensive perimeter using the speeders that also serves as homes to create a small little area to defend. Ezra and Sabine are the only ones that come out, knowing the others don't stand a chance, and noticing Shin, Sabine gives Ezra a quick rundown of who she is, and at the same time, Ahsoka exits from the shuttle to go and confront Balin. They begin to discuss things as Balin says he is not disappointed that Ahsoka has lived. He is just a little surprised, and that he has something important to do, and she has to stay out of his way. She also mentions that she doesn't have time for this, and they begin to duel. Sabine offers Ezra his lightsaber back, but Ezra refuses, saying he gave it to her and all he needs is the Force. He then goes and begins to easily fight off the raiders as Sabine does the same. Shin then goes to attack Ezra, who narrowly dodges her attack with his hair being slightly singed. He and Sabine go to confront her, and using the arrival of the Imperials as a distraction, Shin uses a force push to knock Ezra out, and Sabine goes and tries to fight and kill Shin before the Imperials can land. Ahsoka and Balin continue to duel, and Ahsoka sees she can't break through Balin's defense, and he says that she won't be able to win. She mentions that she doesn't need to, as Huyang does a small attack on Balin, who is forced to retreat temporarily as Ahsoka takes his mount and heads to help with Sabine and Ezra. As Balin just watches on, Ezra is able to quickly get back up, and Thrawn watches the battle, quickly noticing that Balin is not there. Once again, Ezra and Sabine try to take on Shin, but are quickly forced to surrender when the Imperials surround them. Shin orders their execution, and Ezra tries to plead with them, saying that it'll be better to take them alive as prisoners. Shin refuses that and tells them to fire, but before anything could happen, Ahsoka breaks through and gives them the distraction they need for them to be able to flee and get cover. Ahsoka directly takes on Shin and is easily able to push her back as Ezra and Sabine go and begin to take on the night troopers. Thrawn watches the battle and sees that without Balin that their forces stand no chance and orders a retreat and says that they are still doing better than them, mentioning that they only have a very limited time and with the Chimera nearly being loaded, Ahsoka Tano and her allies have nearly run out of time, and time is on their side. At the battle, the Imperial forces begin to retreat and load onto the gunships. Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine stand in front of Shin, and Ahsoka offers Shin to join them. Shin refuses and rides off on her mount, and Ahsoka tells them to stop and let her leave. Ahsoka and Sabine first reunite, and then she reunites with Ezra. Ezra goes and says goodbye to the natives and prepares to leave on the T6 shuttle, commenting on how he will finally get to go home as the village celebrates what they see as a victory. And yeah, honestly, this was a really great episode. I really couldn't believe that we got to see C3PO in this. I was just extremely excited and kind of freaking out when we saw him because C3PO and R2D2 are characters that are basically appear in every project, and if you just take a look at the Mandalorian time period as a whole, now we've seen both of them, and that makes this just very special. I really like that we did get to see them, and it's just amazing to see Anthony Daniels return as C3PO. Of course, there's also some other amazing scenes like that one from Anakin where we have the first ever mention of Asajj Ventress in live action, and I do wonder why he didn't send any more of these messages to Ahsoka after what has to be the midpoint of the Clone Wars. And we could tell that because this is set in, at the latest, the early stages of Season 3. And through that, we know that because Anakin is in his older armor, but also mentions Ventress, who is in the middle of Season 3. And I just checked my Clone Wars timeline with the videos I released, and the latest this could have been is at the end of the first year of the Clone Wars. So, again, I am curious too why it hasn't been shown in the first 2 years, well, the last 2 years of the conflict, and that's just, a little thing I'm wondering about. It definitely didn't say that was the last one, but it is just an interesting detail. And yeah, honestly, going through the rest of it, this was a really solid episode. Thrawn definitely felt like a dangerous presence, and I think that he is definitely showing his intelligence. I think that's, the best they could do with it, with them needing to make it to the next episode, and he definitely does know when to make a retreat, which I do like because Thrawn isn't afraid to admit when he's losing and doesn't want to waste the resources. I don't know, I feel like some people might disagree with this, but I feel like that is in with what Thrawn would do, and he definitely isn't going to be arrogant like other Imperials and go to lengths where he will have a battle that he knows he would lose, but still have to waste the resources. So I think that is a nice little part about Thrawn. And going through the rest of it, I really enjoyed everything with Ahsoka and Huyang, and then Sabine and Ezra. Of course, everything with Balin and Shin is truly incredible. They've both been done so well, and I'm really sad we only have one episode left with the character of Balin, since they won't be able to do anything else with the actor passing away. And just going through the rest of it, I really just loved and enjoyed this episode. They did such a great job, and honestly, it was truly incredible. I think it was just so awesome to see C3PO in this, and Thrawn was done well. I really just can't wait to see what they do next, and just can't wait to see the finale next week. I also feel like as they're trying to bargain with the Night Troopers and Shin was just very Ezra, and yeah, honestly, I really enjoyed it a lot. They did a great job, and I do wonder why Ahsoka let Shin leave. I think it's one or two reasons she sees potential redemption for her, or just doesn't think it's worth to fight her. I'm not sure really what it is, but I feel like it does need to be explained. But yeah, honestly, let me know what you think. And it is a little late, and I probably should have went to bed by now, but I'm finishing up now, and we'll be asleep probably by the time people watch this. But yeah, honestly, I need to go to bed, so hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you on the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.